answer to that is yes. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Hirono. Senator Graham.
Thank you. Do you have the resources, the people, and money you need to protect the nation, Mr. Olson?
Thank you, Senator. We do, from my vantage point in the National Security Division, we have resources to carry out our priority missions. Obviously, January 6th is a singular event that is stretching the resources of our office and the U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C., which is handling that case. There are a number of people have been detailed around the country to support that.
Do you need more money? Any changes in the law to do your job?
At this stage, I don't have any requests for more money or more authority, Senator. Thank you.
Thank you. The Vice President equated January 6th with Pearl Harbor and 9/11. Do you agree with that?
In my view, and if I may just begin by saying, I with Senator Durbin and Ranking Member Grassley, it was a day that must have been horrific to be directly involved in or be victimized on Capitol Hill, and I do think it was a singular event. I'm reluctant to compare it to any prior events in our history because, from my vantage point, it was unique and singular.
Yeah. So the courthouse in Portland was attacked 100 nights in a row. Would you consider those people a candidate for domestic terrorism charges?
I know that hundreds of people have been arrested, as we've discussed this morning. I don't have any information about whether or not, in any particular case, they would be subject to.
Well, Senator Hirono said that people use violence for whatever purpose to attack a courthouse for 100 nights in a row. How many people have been charged with the Portland incident? Do you know?
I defer to Ms. Sanborn that it had data on the number of arrests. I don't have the number of charges.
Do you know, Ms. Sanborn?
No, sir, I don't have Portland specifically in front of me. I would, what I was referring to is 250 arrests over this whole summer.
Well, here's my point. January 6th was a bad day. It was a terrible day, and people are being prosecuted. And I would encourage you to have the full force and weight of law against those who defiled the Capitol. But these protests went on for a year. As you can see this photo behind me, they were literally throwing Molotov cocktails trying to kill police officers. And I didn't hear a whole lot from my colleagues on the other side for an entire year. I guess that's what gets me more than anything else. I understand the scope of January 6th, and I hope people are brought to justice. But this is, it's got to be a two-way street. Let's talk about the world in which we live in now that we have a very brief time to do so. The fall of Afghanistan, the takeover of Afghanistan by the Taliban, has that created additional national security threats to our homeland, Mr. Olson?
As I think from my vantage point, international terrorism remains a priority, and I, if I may broaden my answer a bit, just to say that we continue to be very concerned about.
Well, here's my question.
ISIS in Afghanistan, ISIS force.
Here's my question. The country is now in the hands of the Taliban. Are al-Qaeda elements present in Afghanistan?
We do see. I would say that we continue to see. We do continue to have concerns about both ISIS and al-Qaeda.
What capability do we have available to us to detect terrorism activity on the ground in Afghanistan after the collapse?
Senator, I think it might be not appropriate for me to go into particular.
Well, is it fair to say we've lost a lot of capability?
I would be reluctant to characterize the level of our capability. What I would say is that it remains a priority.
So you can't tell this committee that a lot of the assets we had available to us have been lost because of the Taliban takeover. You can't say that.
Again, I'm reluctant to characterize the level of our intelligence capabilities in Afghanistan.
Have you been to the U.S. border, southern border?
Not, well, 2-3 years ago, I did go to the southern border. Yes.
I would urge you to go back. A lot has changed in the last 2 or 3 years. How many people have come across the border, our southern border, from special interest countries?
I don't have particular information. Possibly Ms. Sanborn does, but I don't have that.
Ms. Sanborn, how many people have come across our southern border in the last year from special interest countries?
Sir, I don't have that data.
Have you been to the border?
Not in a very long time, sir.
Well, I appreciate both of your service, but it's been 3,000 to 4,000. We've had dozens of people on the terrorist watch list coming across the southern border. Here's some advice. If you need more resources, you'll get it from me. But if I were you, I'd go to the border and check out what's going on, because it's just a matter of time, in my humble opinion, that the broken southern border is going to be an entryway to international terrorists who are going to come here and kill a lot of Americans if we don't change policy. And I would urge you quickly to go to the border, get a handle on what's happening at the border, understand the relationship between the takeover of the Taliban in Afghanistan and the opportunity for more terrorist attacks coming our way through the border. So I would urge you to do that, and I'm surprised you haven't. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator Graham. Senator Coons.
Thank you, Chairman Durbin, and thank you to our witnesses today. We are here to have a hearing about January 6th and about the